Discover.com/travel. They have the Discover at Miles card. Use it. New card members, they got a deal. All your numbers, all your miles first year get doubled. 35 could be 70,000. I've been scheduling a lot of off-season travel this week, Ann and I. So, when the football season ends, you get some Fridays off. We're just bon vivants. We're going all over the place. Craziness.
Big plans?
England.
Oh, that's right.
My mom's home country. Go over there. I'm very popular.
Will it be cold there when you go?
Yeah, it's always cold. Oh. August is cold. It'll be wet and rainy. All right, so I go to pff.com, and what I love about it, if you're a fantasy football player, and there's a lot of you that play fantasy football, if you're a gambler, I think the information is great. And I love they brought in Bruce Gradkowski, who's a former NFL quarterback for over a decade in the league. So he can watch film. They can give you the analytics. Let's go to Bruce via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. So let's start. Well, we don't have to get all into the data and rankings. Let's just start, though. PFF grades every quarterback and every guard and every tackle. But what I like what you guys do in your grading system, an interception isn't always the quarterback's fault. There are throws, then there are tough throws. You watch every play. So based on your rankings, all in, what's your top 5 at PFF?
Well, right now, Colin, especially coming off this last week, right? Our top quarterbacks, look at it. Trubisky is top. He's number 2 this past week. So a lot of things got wild this past weekend in the NFL. But overall, look, Russell Wilson, number 1. He's our guy. He's our man. 27 big-time throws this year. Only 6 turnover-worthy plays. 2 interceptions on the year. I mean, that's going to be his lowest total he's embarking on. The guy is playing out of this world. Lamar Jackson coming in at number 2. We see what he's doing with his legs, with his arms, command of the huddle, what he's bringing to the Baltimore Ravens. Carson Wentz is even up there, number 3. And this is talking overall all year so far. Aaron Rodgers, and then it rounds out top 5 with Drew Brees. And as we know, Drew Brees, that short-level passing game, just how accurate he is. That's why he grades so well for us, because his accuracy is just so much better than we see week in and week out.
Now, I thought Dak Prescott played his best game as a Cowboy. I thought he moved well. I thought he was accurate. It's funny, Bruce. I don't feel he's a natural thrower. He often feels like a pitcher who doesn't get good until the 5th or 6th inning. I think he ends up throwing his best balls later in the game. He gets into a motion. I don't think he's a natural thrower like an Aaron Rodgers. What do you see, not only with the analytics, what do you see on film with Dak that you like and may concern you?
The thing I love the most about Dak right now is his poise, his confidence, his command of the offense. You see him out there audibling to his offensive line, to his wide receivers, getting the offense into the right play at the correct time and the right down and distance. 3rd down, he's executing well. This past week, he plays so well this whole year that we've graded so far for Dak in a clean pocket. The dude is playing out of this world, so he's very good from a clean pocket. I have some concerns late in the ball game, that 4th down and 5. He took his matchup with Zeke, a running back, on a linebacker. We like that matchup. Not quite sure, though, Zeke, he's not the best pass catcher type receiver, where he had, Randall Cobb in the slot he could have worked on that 4th down and 5. That's situational football. Those are big plays at key moments. I want to see him continue to elevate his game in those moments. But I'll tell you what, Dak from a clean pocket, playing well. And the best thing I love about him, like I said, his poise, his composure, his command of the offense. I love seeing his growth.
Now, Cowboy games are on nationally every week. Arizona's are not. The kid I'm watching that I've been really blown away with, rookie head coach, below average offensive line, is Kyler Murray. Again, what are you seeing when you look at the 22 film and the game film? What are you seeing?
I love his competitiveness. Look, we like Kyler Murray coming out of college. PFF here, we grade him high. We knew he'd be playing basically the way he's playing now, so we're not surprised. But the thing I love about Kyler Murray, I think his game is more sustainable than a Lamar Jackson. You see how accurate he is with the football, the way he can ad-lib and make plays. When he's running the football, he looks like a Barry Sanders out there. He's not taking these nasty hits to his body, and I love the competitiveness. Every game Kyler Murray's in, it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
He's always playing from behind. You see him in that 2-minute offense. So I think he's doing a terrific job.
So do I, and I think this needs to be said. He's playing from behind a lot. It's much tougher for these quarterbacks. Lamar, when he had to play behind against Cleveland, did not look like the same quarterback. So I agree with you. I think Kyler is not getting the love because he plays for the fourth best team in his division. Now, I want to talk about Lamar because I do think he adds a dynamic. I don't think GMs look at that and go, get me Lamar. I don't think he exists on the market. I do think Tua is Kyler, is Russell Wilson. I've seen that. Lamar's just unique. I don't think there's another Lamar on the market. Are there things you like and are there things you don't love?
I'll tell you what, Lamar Jackson had me sold in Seattle the game he played. Not because of the statistics. You know, he can run for third downs. He can make those plays, but his competitiveness. I watch him out there when he went to John Harbaugh on the sideline on fourth down and said, let's go for it. When I saw him be competitive out there trying to get first downs, he crushes the defense on third downs when he drop backs to pass. Nothing's there. He takes off to get the first down. The guy, I'm seeing him make plays, too, from the pocket. He's being accurate with the football. Can he come from behind and win some big games throughout their stretch? They have some tough games that they're going to play the rest of the season. How can he come from behind and play well? Lamar Jackson, I love what he's doing, but more importantly, what John Harbaugh and that coaching staff is doing is very impressive. And to me, it makes me realize there are coaches out there that put their egos to the side and say, look, let's build the offense around players we have and the talent we have in this building. And that's what the Baltimore Ravens are doing, and that's why they're playing so well.
I think the surprise of the league, Bruce Gradkowski, over a decade in the NFL, PFF.com, by the way, go there. Premium analysis. The promo code's QB25, 25% off. I go there. I love it. The Raiders have shocked me. And, you know, Derek Carr, who I always feel is the comp, is he's a little Tony Romo, good on his feet, lively arm, not a great arm, a little bit of a playmaker with his feet, willing to take some risks, throws the ball downfield, but not ideal size, not the ideal cannon. But I'm not sure if Derek Carr leads this team. You look at the film, Bruce, who does?
Well, you have to look at the quarterback position first. And Derek Carr's leading PFF in a clean pocket this year. He's playing very well. He's making the necessary plays he has to. I think John Gruden's doing a great job with the scheme. Derek Carr's hitting the big-time throws downfield when he's getting them. But you have to look at Josh Jacobs and what he's doing. Highest graded rookie so far this year. He is explosive. He's efficient. He has great vision. And his balance when he gets hit to break tackles is probably second we have right now, breaking tackles. So you have to look at that offense and not just Derek Carr, but what Josh Jacobs, a young rookie, has really brought to this Oakland Raiders football team.
Yeah, it's funny, Bruce. I watched the Raiders last Thursday night, and all three running backs, they're all a little Josh Jacobs. He's the best of them. They're small, they're power, they bounce off. It's so John Gruden, who you know well. It's such a Gruden running back position. Now, I want to shift to this. I've said this before. I watched New England. I lived in Connecticut for a decade. And, you know, it's efficiency, there's no question. But they have no vertical threat. AB and Josh Gordon gone. They don't really have a tight end threat. They're on their third left tackle and their third kicker. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic after losing to Baltimore. But, Bruce, I do not see in this league right now the kind of offensive players that force defensive coordinators to make choices. I think they're an easier team to defend. Their red zone numbers show it. I don't buy New England's offense. It doesn't feel like a Super Bowl winning offense to me. What do the numbers say? What's the tape say to you?
Well, Colin, you're right. They don't have the weapons that they're used to around Tom Brady. I love the addition of Mohamed Sanu. I played with him in Cincinnati. I feel like that gives Brady a big target in the middle of the field that he can work. They don't have tight ends that can win and make plays like Gronk did. I look at Mohamed Sanu, Julian Edelman, of the tight end versions of a wide receiver. Let them work the middle of the field. Let them bring you the plays that they can make. But you have to look at the defense and what Bill Belichick does. Every week there's a little nuance to the defense and how to stop teams. They're very talented defensively. So for that's why they could possibly make a Super Bowl run. And Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady, they'll find a way. They always do. But I'm very eager to watch what happens because you're right, Colin. With the weapons around Brady, how far can this Patriots offense go?
By the way, finally, the Rams. Everybody's bailing on Jared Goff, okay? And Sean McVay, the genius card's expired. What do you see as a 10, 11-year NFL quarterback? What does the tape say?
Well, this year, Goff, number one, is not playing as well as he did last year from a clean pocket. And you have to understand, he's not playing with a clean pocket often. That offensive line struggling. Now they're dealing with some injuries, losing Allen for the year. The right tackle's out probably a week or so. So now they have to supplement new guys in there. Last year, they had a lot of continuity with the offensive line. Todd Gurley was playing good early on in the year. They can't find their rhythm. Look, Cooper Kupp, 200-some yards against the Bengals last week against the Steelers. 0 catches, only 4 targets. So I just really think this offense needs to come together and figure out what their identity is. And I think Sean McVay, he'll get back in that laboratory. He's like a mad scientist. He'll figure it out. I think Whitworth, I played with him in Cincinnati. He's a good team leader. They have to figure it out. They have to protect the quarterback first and foremost. And Sean McVay, get in that lab and dial something up because you have to scheme better and make more plays offensively.
Yeah, they have a little crisis center guard right now with injuries. Bruce Gradkowski, 11 years in the league, PFF.com. Thanks, Bruce. Good talking to you.
Thanks, Colin. You too.
Yeah. By the way, I was just looking at this real quick. Right now, the difference between the NFC and AFC, I was just looking at this. It's incredible how much better the NFC is. The last 2 teams to make the Super Bowl in the NFC, the Rams and Philly, would not make the playoffs today. All the teams in the NFC right now that lead their division, or if we had the playoffs today, the season ends today, the NFC playoff teams are Dallas, Green Bay, Minnesota, San Francisco, Seattle. All of those, barring a health issue, can get to the conference championship. This morning, if the season stopped, here's the AFC standings. A Buffalo team that can't score, 23rd. A Steelers team with Mason Rudolph. Kansas City's abysmal on defense. And Houston, who nobody trusts. The gap between the AFC and NFC. By the way, if New England loses this weekend to Philadelphia off a bye, then that Baltimore thing is not an aberration. They just don't have the offense. Everybody's spending all this time banging on the Patriots' defense against Baltimore. They didn't move the ball very well. And I was looking at the numbers this morning. Look at this. And again, this is with Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, and Brady. They are 16th New England third down efficiency, 15th total offense, 21st red zone offense, 23rd in rushing. Tom Brady's like, we don't have an identity. They don't. New England's offense, you can't win a Super Bowl with this offense. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Again, I'm not ready to say they can't
I know,
win
you're
a
not,
Super
but
Bowl with that offense.
If
it was any other team in the NFL, I would adamantly agree with you.
Sunday night, they lose to Philadelphia 28-24 off a bye and can't really move the ball. You're not going to...
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right.
I am not rooting for that, but they always seem to find a way. So the Cowboys had a tough time stopping the run against the Vikings on Sunday night. Yeah. Minnesota rushed for 153 yards and a touchdown. And when asked how he would describe his team's poor performance with the run defense, Jerry Jones had an interesting analogy.
It's like holding 2 handfuls full of Jell-O. And about the time that you stop it from coming out the middle finger by the forefinger, about the time you start it over there, then it starts coming out the other side. And that's what makes this game so great. That's what makes the challenge so great. And you think you've got it figured out, and 2 games later, the defense you face will have had it figured out for you.
He may have had a martini breakfast. I don't understand what he's saying there. I'm lost.
I've never tried to hold Jell-O in my hand. It usually comes in sort of a container, or, if you're for Jell-O shots, it's in kind of like a smaller paper container. Yeah. But none of them are just, fistfuls of Jell-O. But very, very
he's a story.
Specific He is a storyteller.
He's a story. Jerry, he holds every year.
Paint a picture.
Well, every year the Cowboys hold camp in Thousand Oaks, California. He comes down to Nobu, which is a real popular restaurant in Malibu, one night and holds court with all the reporters. He likes to tell stories. As he always says, I don't have time to schedule a bad time. He's a storyteller.
I mean, when you're Jerry Jones, you have bad times.
Not really.
Not too many, but he is not happy with the run defense. That said, Dallas is 14th in the NFL, allowing 103.4 rushing yards per game. So not awful, not great, but the defense to me is not the issue with the Cowboys at all. It's wrapping your arms around the offensive identity, which to me is Dak.
Yeah.
So Baker Mayfield got the win at home on Sunday. You were not impressed with this win. I was. But he wasn't very happy with the Browns fans that were there. He mentioned after the game that the crowd noise was a factor and clarified that he wasn't talking about the visitors.
No, it wasn't that. It was just the fact that we're on offense. We needed to be quiet. It might have ruffled some feathers. That's okay. But when we're on offense in a critical down, we need to be able to have silence in our home stadium. It's got to be an advantage for us. And then when they get the ball, it's got to be really loud. That's just, the basis of football.
But, it's interesting on this, Joey. If I said to you, guess the line for the game Thursday. Now, it's Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Now, it's interesting because I just guess the line.
I'm Mason Rudolph, though. I'm guessing that the Steelers, I don't know. The Browns just won. I don't know.
It's interesting.
I would think that the Steelers would be favored.
By 7.
The Steelers are favored by 7?
Isn't that amazing? And by the way, it's one of those lines.
I know which way I'm going on that.
They're begging you to take Vegas is saying, please take Cleveland. And when they do that, there's another line. Okay, here, I'll give you another one. I'll just throw this one out. So the Jets look very good this weekend.
Right.
The Jets are an underdog at Washington. Vegas is begging you to take the Jets.
Well, I mean, that's silly.
You would think that. But every time Vegas is saying, please bet the Jets and please bet the Browns. That tells me...
That's a lot of points.
7 in the NFL. Listen, what timeout? That's not what it says. Is the line changed? Somebody's yelling in my ear. Hold on. Who's that, Alex? Hold on. What line am I looking at then? The wrong one. He says Browns are favored by 3.
Okay.
What line am I looking at?
That sounds more reasonable. Steelers favored by 7 after a Bills win feels more ridiculous.
My thing rebooted. My bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got many sources on here, I can't...
Browns by 3 is much more realistic. Okay. Although I still could believe that the Steelers would be favored.
By the way, now I get Pittsburgh plus points.
Now I kind of love the Steelers.
Yeah.
Anyway, Baker talking about games that have already passed. Just stop talking about the games that are already over. It's very simple. Don't talk about the games that are already over. And don't criticize Browns fans. They've been through a lot, all right? I've never been a Browns fan in my life, except for one time when I lost a bet. But other than that, they've been through a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I can't relate to it unless you want to call being a Dolphins fan that. We've got sunshine down there. So, I don't know. Just stop criticizing them. They can cheer as much as they want. They haven't anything to cheer for a long time. Finally, we had some huge news last night on WWE Backstage here on FS1.
We did.
CM Punk made a surprise appearance and announced he will now be a part of the show. He retired from the WWE 5 years ago and went on to be an actor and UFC fighter, but now he's back, and you can see CM Punk on WWE Backstage Tuesday night at 11 Eastern here on FS1.
He came on my show once. He was becoming a UFC fighter, which is... I think that's a tough job to transfer into. Remember, he'd never done UFC fighting.
Right.
He did it, fought, and it wasn't good.
Well, wrestlers are extremely tough and have a very, very high pain tolerance. But obviously, UFC fighting is a very specific art.
Yes.
So, making the transition into that can be difficult for anybody. But he's back at WWE now on WWE Backstage on FS1. So we're happy to have him back. He's also a huge Chicago sports fan.
Yeah, he's kind of crazy.
So,
by the way, if you took the best, like if you took Floyd Mayweather and you took Conor, when they boxed, obviously Mayweather won.
Right.
What if you allowed Mayweather and Conor McGregor or Nate Diaz to do some UFC principles? We all realize the UFC guy could win too, right? Like if Floyd and Conor would have met and you could kick.
No. No. That's of course.
Right.
Like that was the big discussion surrounding that fight.
Right.
Like you're not going to put Floyd in the octagon. That just doesn't work.
Right.
Like
Floyd wouldn't let it.
No, because there's too many other ways to lose UFC fights. That's why people don't go undefeated in UFC, because it's just there's too many factors involved in it.
Yeah.
No word on his future yet, but find out more on CM Punk next Tuesday on WWE Backstage here on FS1.
All right, Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line
Cleveland's
News.
favored by a 3. My bad. That was my bad. The number was kooky, but the Jets number is still out there, which is a nutty number.
Yeah,
that
that's
Washington's favored over the Jets. They're begging you to bet. And Vegas is begging you to take the Jets, which tells me Washington's going to win. That's how Vegas works. They don't give away money. That's casinos are big.
They're not built on winners.
No, they're not very charitable on the money thing. Coming up next, a playoff or takeoff of the 7, 8, 9, 10 teams. You know, we know New England's going to make the playoffs, but largely we know the Saints are going to make the playoffs. Probably San Francisco unless they dovetail. But playoff or takeoff, do you buy the teams, the 8 or 9 that are on the bubble, AFC, NFC? That's coming up in Best for Last. When you're driving, the last thing you want is indecision, lack of perception, can't see through the windshield. That's where Michelin wipers come in. They just put them through a 16,000-mile drive from Alaska to Argentina. They wanted them to deal with the rainforest and the tundra and the desert through unpredictable conditions, sleet, snow, rain. Guess what? They did well. That's because they're weather built. They have the Quad-Tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels the water, the snow, and the ice, and lasts 2 times longer than other blades. Upgrade to the Michelin Endurance XT silicone.